I mean, what other cars can you literally walk into the back of and crouch down in the middle of and have space? Welcome to Tech in the Car. This is the new refreshed 2023 facelift Honda Jazz. And just like Jazz, this car is surprising and has made changes which would make you very, very delighted. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel to see the latest videos and give me a thumbs up if you enjoy this video. This new 2023 Honda Jazz has been facelifted and it uses the same EHEV system as the new Civic and the CR-V from Honda, which means it has a 1.5 litre engine. That's all you can get in terms of engine, but it has 2 electric motors. And the way it works is super clever. It uses the engine to power the motors. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Changes to this model, this is the advanced sport model, which comes in at about £28,000. This has got a newer, more aggressive front design with this hexagonal grille, and we've got these all LED lights. This car also comes with 16-inch alloy wheels. It is the top spec model of this range, but the Jazz is really fun to drive and quite speedy. This facelift model actually has more power than a previous generation pre-facelift as well. The new facelift Jazz believes in the philosophy of you know be, and I probably said that wrong, so I apologize if you're Japanese and watching this video. That basically means that the design can be refined through time to make it better. And as I said, we've got this new design here. We've got the blue in the badge, which shows it's a hybrid, and we've got a more textured design on this advanced sport version of the Jazz. And I do like this new refined design, which makes it look more sporty than the previous version too. And then we've got these air vents down here, which go through to the engine, which remember doesn't actually power the car, powers the motors. The all-new Jazz facelift has an MPV style to it, so you can see it's got a high roof line, which means when we get in you'll see there's a lot of space. But we've also got these great 16-inch alloy wheels. Now these wheels are diamond cut and they look very sporty. You can get the Jazz standard with 15 inches, but 16 inches on this advanced sport. Also at the back, look, we have tinted rear windows like you'd get on a sports car. That means that you have extra privacy in the back and it looks more sporty. It also means you can have stuff on the back seat and people can't see it. But you shouldn't ever leave anything on your back seat, as I discovered when my car was broken into, even with tinted rear windows. So always put your belongings in the boot. Something else on this advanced sport trim is this matching side skirts to add to the sportiness, and also you get a rear spoiler and chrome exhaust. The question you want to know is how much space do you get in the back of the Honda Jazz? So we get 304 litres of space, 1205 litres with the back seats down. Thanks to Honda Press, we've got a beautiful Honda Jazz weatherproof mat here, which you can see says Jazz. So this accessory is available if you want an accessory. And inside the actual boot, once you get rid of the mat, we have a space here which you can fit stuff in as well underneath, under the floor. So quite spacious here. It's also very tall, so you can fit tall objects. We do have a parcel shelf here, which is also removable if you need to put something in there, but it's actually a very good size and well-shaped boot for you to put your luggage and your shopping in. There are little hooks as well here at the side. So very spacious, very competent for what you'd want it for, thanks to the MPV style shape. This is where the magic happens. This is the very innovative drive system that Honda uses. Now this is a hybrid, but it's not a hybrid like you're used to. Traditional hybrids have a battery which then powers the motors, which then drives the car. And if you run out of battery, it runs down, the engine kicks in, or if you need more power, the engine kicks in. That's not how this works. This very innovative system uses the engine essentially as a generator, creating electricity which fills up the battery and powers the 2 electric motors on this car. That means most of the time this car is running from electric motors using the engine as a generator. What a really clever bit of technology that is. I have to say it's very unique and very special. Now there are occasions where the engine will kick in and directly power the wheels using its locked clutch system, but that is an exception, not the rule. And that means in terms of efficiency, this car gets over 60 miles per gallon and is super efficient. It also means that in terms of the product range, it's very simple. We have one engine type, which is hybrid, the 1.5 litre electric hybrid system, which is on the Jazz, which is on the Civic, and also on the CR-V, unless you want the Civic Type R, in which case you have a different engine, which is not a hybrid. It means it's really easy to choose your Honda. You just choose the shape and the price, and that's it, you're done. Nice and easy. What does that mean in terms of performance? Well, we've got more power. We've gone up to 90 kilowatts from 80 kilowatts, which is about 122 horsepower. We've got 253 newton meters of torque, which can get this car from 0 to 60 in 8.6 seconds, which is the same as some hot hatches. The engine power has actually increased from 97 PS or horsepower to 107 PS, which when combined gives you that higher horsepower figure. It means you've got a lot of torque, really good performance, but thanks to this very efficient system, it means we still get those really great MPGs of around 60 miles per gallon, as well as being really good for the environment and making sure that you're not wasting your petrol. From the outside, you do not expect the amount of space that there is in the back of this Honda Jazz. I'm 1.78 meters. This is a seating position for driving. You can see I've got so much space back here. It's unbelievable. The last time I was that impressed with space in the back of the car was in the Lucid Air, which is over $100,000 or £100,000 and is premium luxury. This is not that, but I'm that impressed. The seats are comfortable. We've got two USB Type-Cs down here. We've got a small but decently sized bin here to put bottles in. These windows are tinted, although they would be better if they weren't tinted in terms of airiness in the car. They do let light in, but if they were not tinted, it would be even better. The light headlining helps as well because it doesn't darken the interior of this car back. But obviously, lots of space, very comfortable back here. At the back of the Honda Jazz, there's something very, very cool. These are called Magic seats, and they're seats that can fold up like you can see with this seat in front of me very, very easily. You just hold them at the bottom, pull them up like that, pull down on here, and then this will lock into place, and now you have an unbelievably large space back here. You could put a big TV in here, you could put your IKEA drawers in here. I mean, what other cars can you literally walk into the back of and crouch down in the middle of and have space? This car gives you a lot of versatility, either putting these seats flat through from the back or in a vertical position like this is very, very versatile and very, very impressive. Add the versatility of this space to the clever hybrid system, and we've got a really, really, really thoughtful bit of technology and engineering by Honda here in this very impressive Honda Jazz. The front of the Jazz has just as much space as the rear. You saw how much room I had in the rear. We've got really, really spacious, good, comfortable seating position, driving position. I could even move the seat forward slightly to get a bit closer to the pedals. Now in this advanced sport version, we have this beautiful 3-spoke trimmed leather steering wheel with a beautiful yellow piping around the inside, which looks very sporty and is very, very nice to hold and feel. But all of these cars are rammed full of technology. We have adaptive cruise control, lane assist. We've got all the safety features you could want, a reversing camera. These come as standard on the Jazz. This is really, really impressive. And then there are other little things which are quite cool, like this secret second glove box, which may not be that secret anymore because I've shown you it, but that's there. And then we have another glove box here. So we've got tons of space. We've got two USBs here. We've got our 12-volt there. We've got a physical climate control system. As this is a hybrid, we do have an automatic gearbox. We've also got brake hold as well. So we've got an electronic handbrake. We've got a cup holder there. We've got a square cup holder behind there. And we've got quite a nice spacious area there to put stuff in. So overall, very, very spacious. We've also got this massive windscreen, which reminds me of the VW ID3 and the Cupra Born. But we have this really, really big quarter glass section with lots of light and quite thin pillars here. So you've got really, really good visibility looking out of this car, which is very impressive. And then we've got a 9-inch infotainment system, which works, of course, with wireless Apple CarPlay and also wired Android Auto. And that is Apple CarPlay wirelessly on the Honda Jazz. As you can see, my phone is not connected. There's no wire connected here. And I've got the ability to go into Google Maps, into Spotify to play my music and do everything you could want to do on CarPlay. We've got our trip computer where you can see your range, how far the car can go on a full tank. So 455 miles it's saying right now. And this is just a very easy system to use. Not necessarily the most beautifully designed system. So here we have the digital driver's display. Now you will note that you can see lots of useful information on here. This is a 7-inch digital driver's display. So quite spacious. The 0 is not cut off, by the way, that's just the angle of the camera. But you can see I can swap through the various settings on here. I can see my MPG, I can adjust it, I can hit the home button to go back and I can see my efficiency, I can see my music. if I have any music, the radio's connected, or the phone, or it'll tell me if I need to have a break, so my driving's a bit erratic. And then I can see the driver assistance features, which I can then turn on and turn off on the car using the steering wheel. We know this car has the efficiency, we know this car has presumably the power based on its performance figures, and we know it's very, very smooth to drive, but does it live up to the hype that maybe I created talking about its powertrain earlier in this video? Well, what I have to say is we've got 90 kilowatts, which is 122 horsepower, and this car definitely surprises. When you put your foot down in sport mode, it does go. Very, very surprising. Now, of course, it is not the fastest car in the world, but for what it is, you really are surprised by its performance. When you are in sports mode and you do put your foot down, that's when you get the power going directly to the wheels, and we're out of that hybrid mode. You can really hear it because the engine spins up and it is really noisy. The rest of the time, this car feels really, really stable. I'm driving along here, I'm not being shaken about, the suspension isn't stiff, it equally isn't really soft. It feels like a very good compromise, something which lets you kind of have some idea where you are on the road, but doesn't surprise you when you try and go around a corner by sort of wafting sideways. It's actually very, very impressive. You can see really, really easily with this digital driver display, are you in EV mode? What is going on? What is the car doing? And also with the assistance technology, which is how I have it set up now. Let's actually try out that performance now. So if I put it into sport mode, you can hear the engine going. And it's a really fun, interesting noise. Honda really have done a great job with their entire range of cars, and they're continuing to innovate, and I'm really excited to see what they're bringing next. What do I think of the Honda Jazz facelift for 2023? Well, starting at 25,900 for the Elegance model, going up to 28,145 for this, the Advanced Sport. This car is very, very well spec'd. It's got plenty of oomph, it's got great efficiency, it's got a lot of space in the front and the rear, especially with those magic seats. It's got all the latest driver technology built into it. It's just a very, very good all-round car. I find it hard to put it down on any particular area. If you're after a car of this size, of this shape, at that price point, then this is a very good car, and you should definitely have a look at one for yourself, because I think you'll be very surprised, just as I was. I think Honda have a very compelling range, and it's only going to get better with some of their new EVs coming later this year and early next year. Please, if you have any questions, let me know. Subscribe to this channel. Do check out my Civic and my Civic Type R, all my Honda E reviews as well. Thank you very much.